Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is October 26th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see our low pressure system. They're spinning up as it moves towards the coastline. Some blustery conditions associated. We got precipitation across the region. Some of that's going to try to get down towards the Bay Area as we go through the day here today as well. So taking a look here at the satellite imagery along with the Doppler radar overlay, you can see the precipitation across northern zones continuing to push in, and you can see that spin in the atmosphere here on the visible satellite imagery. The GOES 18 satellite imagery, and this frontal system, although it is coming on shore, it is losing some of its punch, and it's not expected to bring much rain south of the Bay Area here, but there is some snow for the higher terrain and some nice precipitation amounts, some gusty winds across the state here as well. So if you guys want a nice affordable home weather station to record all this crazy weather we get here along the west coast of North America, click on that link down below to save 10% off. Fun weather station, does all kinds of stuff, easy to install. Now, we have a high surf advisory up and down the coastal areas here, and if I click on that, you can see that goes from 11 a.m. this morning, but still the surf is going to be pretty dangerous, so I would just kind of continue to monitor those waves before you get close to the ocean out there. We've had a fatality on the Oregon coast, and this wave action is going pretty good here, so heads up for that. Now, the rain forecast today, you can see it does bring some, maybe as much as a tenth of an inch down towards San Francisco, some for the northern Sacramento Valley. Look at Redding, about a half an inch there, and some bigger amounts across places like Shasta County. Snow levels generally running 6,500 to 7,500 feet. Nice job by the National Weather Service Sacramento as shown here. And also gusty winds across some of the higher terrain. This is Reno, Nevada, which does do portions of California here, so watch out across the lakes there. Look at the ridgetop gusts to 100 miles per hour. But if you're out and about that high across the terrain, I'm sure you know what you're doing here, but just be paying attention here because this is bringing some strong winds, 75 miles per hour in some other wind-prone locations, and some gusty winds and some larger waves there, even on Lake Tahoe. So the beach hazard statements go all the way down through the Bay Area towards Monterey Bay here, down towards Big Sur. There's some high surf advisories even a bit further south there, and this goes on into the day on Monday. So just kind of, again, keep that in the back of your mind. Wind advisory, Kern County Desert. You can see Mojave right there, and so yeah, it is bringing some of these stronger winds down towards even some of the transverse range as well. So this is the low pressure system I just showed you. Got Hawaiian Islands to the bottom left. There's the state of California. And again, you can see that slug of precipitation moving inland here as we go through the day today. Again, trying to wring out some rain for the Bay Area there. But then we're going to switch the pattern up, and you can see this ridge go across the interior portions. We're going to kick some offshore flow, and we are going to dry out for a bit here. How long will that be? Well, good question. We're going to monitor that here as we go, but it does show some atmospheric river potential moving into the Pacific Northwest as we go on into November. We'll continue to watch these systems and see just how far south they are going to impact the West Coast. So if we take a look at that pressure signal, there goes the system again as we go through the day today, and then we scroll through here and look at this ridge build across some of the Great Basin in the interior west, and we get some of this offshore flow, and we're also going to warm things up as we go on in through next week. So some nice weather incoming there, and then look at that, another ridge kind of move up across the Pacific Northwest, keeping us fairly protected from any Pacific Ocean storms, at least for now. And then as we go through the extent, you can kind of see maybe things switching up a little bit, but we'll worry about that as we get a little bit closer to it. Now look at some of these wind speeds at 2,500 feet. There goes this system today, again with some gusty winds, especially across some of the higher terrain. And then we start to turn things offshore. You can see as we go through the day on Tuesday, you'll notice that northeast flow coming back down across some of the state. Could be some gusty winds with that. We'll look at that a little bit more here. In fact, we'll look at it right now. I'm going to go ahead and switch things up, but you can see that offshore wind remaining with us. So let's go ahead and check out, for example, the North American model, and we're going to get a bit closer here. We're going to go all the way towards the state of California. We're going to zoom in, and we're looking just off the surface here at 2,500 feet, but I want to put this into motion and kind of see when these winds turn offshore. And plus we can look at that storm system as it's moving in today. Again, across some of the higher terrain of the Sierra Nevada, getting some big wind gusts out there, and across some of the transverse range, coastal waters, kind of typical stuff. Some westerly winds coming across the peninsula range as well. And then we try to see when this is going to switch up. It starts to turn northeasterly as we go through the day on Monday. How strong do those winds get? Well, they do get a bit gusty here. So yeah, that's going to be something we need to pay attention to. Some north winds coming across the desert areas as well. Some northeast winds across the Sacramento Valley, pushing off across the Bay Area here as we go on in through the day Monday and into Monday night. So yeah, we got to watch out for some of these gusty winds as we go on in through Monday and the Tuesday time frame. Now, 2 meter temperature anomaly. Watch this. You can see as the system is moving through here over the next couple of days, we're below normal. But then as that ridge develops across the interior portions and we get that offshore wind, you can see how we warm up as we go on in through next week. And that includes much of the state of California above normal here for late October. Now, total precipitation in inches, will scroll through there. You can clearly see that storm as I toggle back and forth as we go on in through the day today. Look at Shasta County. Some areas getting up over 2, maybe 3 inches of precipitation across some of the higher terrain there. And again, above 6,500 feet, you could be running into some of the white stuff, some wintry conditions associated with that. And then we go on to the 6-day period. You can see not much else in the way of rainfall here for the state of California. Accumulated positive snow depth change in inches. And again, you can kind of see that teasing out, maybe a few inches, again, above 6,500 feet, generally speaking. Now, one more look here at the waves. And again, you can kind of see how things are elevated as we go on in through the day today. But we start to back things off as we go through next week. We do start to calm things down when we get that offshore flow, strong storms moving up towards southeast Alaska as we go on in through next week. Now, 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. This is the West Coast above average for much of the region here and kind of a near normal signal. And again, we'll see what kind of systems may be clipping portions of California. And look at that big below normal signal across central portions of the USA. Patreon page, check it out if you like. Otherwise, hope you guys are having a good day. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again either tomorrow or the next day, depending on what starts to show up in the extended forecast. And I will talk to you guys then.